fire is catching, and if we burn, you burn with us. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 was directed by Francis Lawrence, who did the previous installment, The Hunger Games Catching Fire. He also did the second half of the Mockingjay saga, creatively titled The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. God, the marketing team must have really struggled to come up with that title. And also, he's doing the upcoming The Hunger Games prequel that really has gotten a world of goddamn hype, and I hope it matches the energy and the fervor and the feverish nature of the 4 films. Yes, the Mockingjay book was split into 2 movies. Why? Because Twilight succeeded, Harry Potter succeeded, Divergent didn't so much, but that being said, because of the rip-roaring success of the first 2 movies and the critical acclaim, Lionsgate said, fuck it, let's split it into 2 movies. So, 2 writers for this, Danny Strong, who did stuff such as Empire and Dopesick, and also Peter Craig, who did The Batman. I didn't expect that movie to be that good, and Top Gun Maverick. Really didn't expect that movie to be that good. Jennifer Lawrence returns as Katniss Everdeen, who, at the end of the second movie, was rescued because the revolution is coming, whether she likes it or not. And President Coin, played by Julianne Moore, who apparently was convinced by her children, because they love the novels, to take this role. She is presiding over District 13. Not Deep 13, no Dr. Clayton Forrester, no TV's Frank, no none of that. No, we don't have a flubber spill or anything. This is a very, very deep cut for MST3K fans, and otherwise everybody else is monumentally confused by what I mean by Deep 13. That being said, Julianne Moore, as President Coin, is bound and determined to launch an offense against the Capitol, rally the districts, and make sure they take down the Capitol so everybody is on even playing field. Side note, Julianne Moore commanding and overlording over me, I certainly wouldn't be against that. Yes, I love Julianne Moore. The fact that she at this point was in her mid-50s and she's in her early 60s now and still looks fucking incredible. Great genetics. She's also an incredible actress. So yes, Peter, Josh Hutcherson, he has been held captive by the Capitol. And also, apologies if you haven't seen this movie, but it came out in 2014. Also, I'm going to be doing a lot of spoilers here because, well, if you're just jumping in wondering what the hell's going on, you're going to be totally goddamn lost if you haven't seen the previous 2 movies. So, yeah, everybody else is returning. Philip Seymour Hoffman actually died, I think a week before or after filming completed. And most of his scenes, because they filmed this and Part 2 back to back, most of his scenes for Part 2 were covered already and in the can, so to speak, I guess, even though I don't think films were even in cans back in 2014. That being said, it's kind of like what they did with Carrie Fisher with episodes 7, 8, and 9, and also the digitized stuff that they did for Rogue One. Basically, they had enough footage of her to carry on her legacy. So yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman, everybody hold up your spoons as a eulogy. That's terrible. I'm sorry, I'm not. But anyway, Philip Seymour Hoffman, tremendous actor. Just had to be spoon-fed his lines here. I'll stop. So, let's go some facts and figures of this whole damn thing. $125 million budget. Just a little bit below what Catching Fire was. $121 million opening. Pretty sizable, not as big as the others. Starting to think maybe the bloom might have been coming off the rose here. $337.1 million gross in the U.S. and $755.3 million worldwide. So, yeah, basically collectively between this and Mockingjay Part 2, they made about $2.8 billion worldwide. I mean, well, actually, now that I think about it, it might be close to 3, but the whole point is they made a goddamn mint. So hopefully the Hunger Games prequel will even come close to matching that. So District 13, we opened in District 13, that is, where, Katniss is being taken care of medically, and apparently District 13 just had a ton of unused medical rooms that they just slotted out and everything and opened up for everybody, including Katniss. And could Julianne Moore lead me, is what I wrote down. Yes, maybe I will profess my love for Julianne Moore one of these days. Shut up. So, Katniss is upset because they didn't rescue Peeta. Oh, Peeta could have led the revolution. No, he couldn't have. No, he fucking couldn't have. I mean, I'm not saying he's not strong, but he kind of proved he was easily manipulated. Anyway, she sees what is left of District 12 as a way to motivate her. There's nothing. She does somehow manage to get the cat back. The cat somehow survived, and her house survived. So, not the best bombing by the goddamn Capitol. But the cat, the big old floofy cat that I'm going to assume is probably dead by now because that cat looked like it was about middle age, and this was 9 years ago. But that being said, if the cat's still alive, great. Like, the cat's going to watch this or understand this. And President Snow basically says to the Capitol and to the districts, if you join this revolution, you're going to die. Join me or die. He channeled Aaliyah, except President Snow's career was alive and well at this point. So PETA was on Capitol TV, uses propaganda. He obviously is being brainwashed, clearly, 100%. Killing isn't the answer. You know, in hindsight, given real-world events going on as of this moment, maybe rewatching these movies wasn't the best goddamn idea because there are a lot of similarities between this and what's going on in a certain Gaza area. But Katniss, she's conflicted. She agrees to be the Mockingjay to lead the revolution. And also Elizabeth Banks is Miss Trinket. She's there and doesn't have her makeup on and everything and actually looks like a normal human being. So Trinket does, use her womanly ways and also her smarts as far as marketing Katniss. And they apparently have a giant TV studio there where they can just edit this shit together. I know it's a dystopian future, and I know they have resources, but Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, there are filmmakers, even back, or even now, that wish that they had the technology that this movie had. So, there's an arrow also, or, certain arrows, and Jeffrey Wright's Beatree, or BT is there. Beatrice. No, I'm just moving on from that. Didn't know where that joke was going. She has certain arrows that she can use. Katniss, that is. And let's not fire the red ones in here. Why shouldn't we fire the red ones? Explodey. So, she tries to do propaganda stuff, but she's being scripted. She can't be scripted. They send her into the field. District 12. And there's a bunch of wounded, and people are going to stand up for her. Or stand with her. And then President Snow says, well, let's just kill the wounded. Kill them all. Donald Sutherland was terrific in these movies. Apparently, again, really nice guy. Just kind of a dick. Kind of a dick in these movies. So, this is District 8, by the way. They bomb the hospital and, well, yeah, let's just say stuff doesn't go all that well. And basically, Jennifer Lawrence utters the iconic line, fire is catching, if we burn, you burn with us. Goosebumps, ladies and gentlemen. And join the Mockingjay, join the fight. Service guaranteed citizenship. It's basically Starship Troopers right here. I'm doing my part. And then we see footage of some of the rebels, radicals, whatever you want to call them, people standing up to the Capitol, doing stuff. People get gunned down in a forest, but a bunch climb into the trees like they're goddamn Ewoks. And if we burn, you burn with us. And they drop bombs and kill a bunch of guards. And I have to say, the Capitol guards here, the peacekeepers they send out, not exactly the most coordinated fighting force because they're getting picked off pretty quickly. And then there's this one point where it seems like Katniss is going to hunt or whatever. And then there's this giant buck that says, I'm home, dear. So anyway, enough with that pun. The Capitol uses PETA as propaganda. They actually digitally thinned his face out. Some people thought it was an extreme diet. I mean, I'm not saying Josh Hutcherson wouldn't have done that, but they probably said, no, let's not go to that extreme. We got the budget. Let's put a few million aside and digitize. So then we get the hanging tree thing. Are you coming to the tree? I'm not sure if that's, Jennifer Lawrence's way of, let's just move on from that. Coming to the tree could take on a different connotation. So you have violence, and then we get various rebels staying up, and then a bunch rush towards this dam area. And again, the peacekeepers, not exactly an elite fighting force, being unable to stop them. I mean, not that I'm rooting for them, but good God, these are the best that President Snow could get. So they managed to get some explosions in there, and well, damn, the power's out. Okay, I'm done with the puns. I'm done, I promise. And District 12 gets footage from District 12 rather interrupts a deal where PETA is trying to do more propaganda, Petaganda as it were. He's, obviously conflicted. Like, Katniss, get out of there. They're gonna kill you. So basically, he just pretty much, with his last bit of normalcy, warned them that they're gonna die. So then they descend further and further and further down into the goddamn, this never-ending cavernous area of District 13. Because everything was leveled above. So let's just go down further where the oxygen's going to run out. Also, the cat was safe. That was nice. Big old giant orange tabby. God, that was a giant pile of floof. And suddenly, Katniss gets the idea, hey, wait a second, we could do certain things, and this cat gave me an idea. Playing with this light and everything, we could mount an offense on our own. We could sneak some people in to rescue Peeta and Joanna, Jenna Malone, and also Annie. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Who is Fennec's, significant other or sister? I don't, goddamn, I forgot some of the relations between these people because I watched the first two yesterday. I've watched this one. I'm going to watch Mockingjay Part 2 in just a bit, and yeah. So, there are white roses all over. The white roses represent President Snow, and a little bit of poison in his mind. And it's just basically President Snow is a vile, vicious person that will just poison and kill anybody to maintain his power. Okay, that sounds like somebody that was once in charge of a really, really popular country. But anyway, footage of destruction, a rescue mission that kind of goes tits up a little bit, seemingly. President Snow is talking to Katniss and says, you think I don't know your plan? I'm President Snow, bitch. Snow bitch. And the feed gets cut off. Oh my god, everybody's going to die. Gale's there, Liam Hemsworth, and all this stuff's going on. Oh my god, this is terrible. But then suddenly we cut back to Joanna's rescued, Annie's rescued, and Peeta's rescued. And she goes to see Peeta, and Peeta suddenly lunges at her and pulls a Jimmy Snuka to her Nancy Argentino. And chokes. If you are a wrestling fan, you are either hating me or laughing at me or laughing at hating me in the comments. And I could have said channeling Chris Benoit, but who would want to make those jokes? Me. I'd want to make those jokes. That being said, he damages her throat for a bit. But it turns out they used fear-mongering and fear therapy and fear stuff, and they broke him down and made him fear Katniss instead of loving Katniss. So then President Coin comes up with a rah-rah-rah thing. Panem will unite, and we will take down the Capitol. What's next? It's Mockingjay Part 2. That's what happens with second parts and everything. I will say in closing that I get why they split them, because they made a lot of money, but there was like 1.25 good to great movies between both of them, and that's really unfortunately an issue with a lot of the books being split into two. Now granted, 517 pages for Mockingjay compared to 300 and change for the first and the second one. I get why they split it, but still they had to add some padding and everything, and at least this was a breezy 2 hours and 2 minutes. Unfortunately, the next one had about an extra 15 minutes tacked on when it probably only needed to be an hour and 50 minutes. But I'll get to that when I review that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rentlin. I'll see you soon.